Good morning. Welcome back to the Morning Report. Today, it's pride, politics, and patriotism. Who's still proud to be an American? Let me ask you something. How proud are you to be an American? Now, before you answer, consider this. The answer depends on a lot on who you ask. Now, a new survey from iCitizens asked this exact question, and the results are pretty eye-opening. Only about 44.3% of respondents say that they're extremely proud to be an American. That's less than half. While meanwhile, over 1 in 5 or 20, more than 20% say they're not proud at all. Let's talk about it. Let's start with the biggest divide of all. Not surprising to you, will be party affiliation. Extremely proud to be an American. Republicans are answering this survey at 80.5%, 80.5%, 80.5% are extremely proud. Independents, 45.5%, 45.5% are extremely proud. While Democrats, less than 10%, 9.7% of Democrats are saying that they're extremely proud to be an American. You heard that right. Only about 1 in 10 Democrats say that they're extremely proud to be an American. And that's not political, that's philosophical. We're talking about fundamentally different views of what America is and whether if it's even worth loving. Compare that to Republicans. 80.5% extremely proud. That's 8-1 enthusiasm over Democrats. Even independents fall somewhere in the middle, around 45%. Apparently, patriotism isn't bipartisan anymore. Now, we talked about education yesterday, so go ahead and check out that video. But does education dilute pride or patriotism? We see that less than a bachelor's degree, 49.6% are extremely proud. A bachelor's degree or higher, that number goes down to 40.8% extremely proud. And not proud at all drops to 19.6% versus 22.8%. Not proud at all. Now, here's where it gets educational. People with college degrees are significantly less likely to be proud of being American than those without one. Nearly 1 in 4 with a college degree said that they're not proud at all. Let that sink in for a moment. You send your kids to college, you scrape, you save, you sacrifice. You're able to in an American system. In this system, you're able to send them to a place of higher learning, ostensibly to get them a better life than you have. And they come back ashamed of their country, basically ashamed of you and what you've done and how you've done it. It's got to make you wonder what the hell's being taught in those lecture halls. Now, we've said for years, and especially on this program, that you know the United States is so vast, it's so different that a lot of people who live here don't do a lot of international traveling because you really don't have to, because of the size and scope of the United States and how people are different from place to place. Now, as there's a lot of regional pride here. Of those of us who live in the South, we are extremely proud to be an American at 48.3%. Now, more than the folks out west, and that ain't just California or Washington or Oregon. That's Arizona and Colorado and all the states out west, Texas even probably, 43.5%. The Midwest, 42.6%. Now, them damn Yankees up there in New York and Maine and Vermont and Connecticut and sadly Virginia, especially Northern Virginia, way down to 37.5%. They say they are proud to be an American. So if you want to find a proud American, you got to go south. The South leads all regions in extremely proud responses, while the Northeast trails behind, which is amazing if you live in the South. How many people come from that region of the world of the country to retire, to get a better life, to get out of the city rat race, all that stuff. They leave they leave the New Yorks, they leave the Philadelphias, they leave the Chicagos, and they end up in the Charlottes, they end up in the Tampas, they end up in the Miamis, the Atlantas. Interesting, isn't it? Well, it looks like sweet tea and stars and stripes go hand in hand. It speaks to the culture. Southern pride isn't just about football and barbecue, although it is about football and barbecue. It's rooted in faith and family and the flag. Meanwhile, in the elite quarters of the Northeast, maybe patriotism is out of style. Maybe patriotism is not out of style in the Northeast, just sort of inconvenient right now. Now, we just talked about sending kids to college and having them come back and sit under your dinner table, eat your food, live in your house, suck up your air conditioning or your heat, and tell you how they're not proud of the country that they live in. Let's look at some of the numbers. Ages 35 to 49 say that they're 49.2% say they're extremely proud. As do ages 50 to 64, 46% of them say they're extremely proud. 18 to 34, only 31.1% of them say they're extremely proud. And under 18, a full third, 33%, say that they're not proud at all. Now, older Americans, especially Gen Xers and boomers, still feel that deep pride in the red, white, and blue. But the younger you go, the more the pride fades. Young adults under 34, less than a third are extremely proud. And then the under 18 crowd, only one third are proud at all. That's not just a generational gap. It's a warning sign. We're not passing on pride. We're passing on pessimism. And what we're also passing on is that life has, and I'm going to say this, life has been so easy, generally speaking, from people my age to younger. Except for the 9/11 thing that I mentioned, life in this country has been peaceful. We have not been involved in world wars. We have not been asked to sacrifice for our country. And that's the biggest thing, I think. We have not been asked to sacrifice. I'm 64. I signed up for selective services when I was 18 because it was a law and they make you. And I don't know of anybody who didn't. So I never found out what happens if you don't. I don't know if they come get you. I don't know. Do you know what happens if you don't sign up for selective services? If you're an 18-year-old male, do they give you a grace period like from 18 to like 19 or 21? I mean, what happens? Well, we all signed up and we never got called because there was never a draft. And a lot of us never put on the uniform. And as time went on, fewer and fewer of us lost classmates. So we never saw the sacrifice. We never saw how the sausage was made. We never saw it. And thus our children have never seen it. And because our children have never seen it, they think that it all happens by some sort of Disney magic. That it's all led by some sort of, I don't know, politician speak, and that it's old fashioned and unnecessary and cringy to be patriotic because they've not seen the sacrifice. They've not seen what it takes. It's hard to appreciate something you've always had. I talk to people my age all the time and they go, why are some people just not very appreciative? It's impossible to be appreciative of something that you've always had. It's hard to be appreciative of your head. It's hard to be appreciative of your head because you've always had it. You don't wake up in the morning and go, thank God for my head. I remember the days where I had to scrape. I bumped into things because I didn't have a head, so I didn't have eyes. All those days I used to breathe out of my arm gills. You don't do that because you've always had a head. And you've always lived in a safe place. You've always lived in a place where your best friend didn't go to some foreign land and get his brain shut out. Only a few of us have experienced losing friends or relatives, under those circumstances. And that's a huge part of it. Where it used to be that you would go to high school, and if you were 17 or 18, you would either volunteer or you would wait for your draft number to be called. And then you would go serve your country in the most dangerous way possible. And now it is just since you're 12 years old, obviously, when you graduate from high school, when you're 8, you're going to graduate from high school in 10 years and go to college because that's the path. And you're never going to have to defend the freedom that you've been able to enjoy because it's always been there for you. That's why we're not passing on pride. We're passing on entitlement wrapped in pessimism. Race and being proud of the country that you live in. It's a pretty complex picture. As you can see, Native Americans so far in this poll, now this is an ongoing poll. So if you go to this poll now on iCitizens, there's a very good chance that these numbers have changed. But right now, Native Americans, 63.4% say extremely proud. Hispanics, 58.3% extremely proud. Black people say at 34.5% extremely proud. People identify as Asian, only 25%. White folks, 42.7%. Now, this may surprise a lot of you. The groups with the highest extreme pride levels, Native Americans and Hispanics. Well, that makes sense to me because there are people from who are Hispanics, especially, are from countries that are communist countries, socialist countries, and the bounty that is available here in the United States is unseen like anywhere else in the world. Like anywhere else in the world. Why do you think we're fighting this border war? Because people want to come here. People from Hispanic countries, especially in South America, want to come here. They see the bounty. They see it. They've seen their friends and their neighbors and their relatives benefit from it. That's why. That's exactly why. People who have always had it don't appreciate it. Black Americans come in at 34.5%, while white Americans come in at 42.7%. Here's the takeaway. This country means different things to different people based on where they live, based on what they've lived, based on what they've overcome, and based on what they've been told. So we've all been sold a lie that pride in America is somehow problematic. You hear that all the time. You know, it's nationalist. What's that? What does that mean? Yes, I'm a nationalist. I'm an American nationalist. I am excited and proud to live in this country. I am extremely blessed to have been born here as opposed to being born in Somalia or Haiti. Right? That makes sense? Or some small village in Venezuela. So I am incredibly blessed to have been born into this. So yes, it's not problematic. I love this country for what it provides, the opportunity that it provides. Yes, is it perfect? No, because it's full of people. Any place that's full of people is not going to be perfect. Are there things that have been struggles? Yes. Any place that's full of people, there's going to be struggles. So I have not ignored our flaws. Some people say it's flaws. No, I have, the flaws that we have in this country are based on the people, all the 330 million people that are here. So I haven't forgotten that. So what you have to do is you have to do a cost benefit analysis. You have to balance that out. So I'm not focused on the flaws, focused on the future. So pride is what builds nations. That we are proud of where we live. That I am not ashamed to fly the American flag. I'm not ashamed to fly the American flag in front of my house, even when there's a Democrat in the White House. Been doing that as long as we've lived here. Barack Obama was in the White House. My flag was outside of my house. Yep, sure enough. Donald Trump in the White House. My flag stayed out in front of my house, flying proudly. Joe Biden in the White House. My flag flew outside my home proudly. Donald Trump back in the White House. My flag is still flying proudly. And whoever's the president the next time, whoever it is, whatever party, my flag will still fly proudly out in front of my house. It's what builds us. So if you're watching this and you're proud to be an American, say it, teach it, because the numbers don't lie. The pride gap is real and it's growing. Tell your kids, explain to them what they have, and explain to them what they could lose and what they could lose for their kids. So if you found any of this helpful, make sure that you subscribe right now. Click that bell. Share this with somebody who's proud or someone who needs a reminder of why they should be.